over there. Okay, I'm gonna have to come around these plants. They look a little pokey. Hang on just a second, I'll be right over. Here we go. This looks good. Wait a second. Just gotta get my chair set up. So, you may have heard of a book by Maurice Sendak called Where the Wild Things Are. It's a really great book. I really like it. And I liked it so much that I actually wrote a story based upon the wild things. Where the wild things are. I got it right here. And I thought maybe you might like to hear it. It's actually about a wild thing that's not in the original book about Max and the wild things. This one is about a baby wild thing named Cece. And it's about a little girl named Sophia and a little boy named Charlie, and what happens when a wild thing comes home to visit for the weekend. On the day that 7-year-old Sophia decided to take a wild thing home with her for the weekend, the sun was shining and there was a gentle breeze blowing. The wild thing's name was Cece, and if she had been human, she might have been considered a toddler. But wild thing toddlers are much more independent than human toddlers, and Cece had already had many adventures on her own. She had purple hair that looked like it was combed by a kitchen blender, and 2 little horns just growing in, but like most wild things her age, she did not have any of the many sharp teeth that she would have as an adult wild thing. Sophia knew that Cece sometimes got into trouble because she was stubborn and had her own ideas about things. But because Cece was still young, Sophia thought she would be able to take care of Cece for a short visit. Sophia was in for the challenge of her life. When Sophia and Cece got to 247 Parkside Avenue, where Sophia lived, she said, "Cece, my parents don't know you're coming to visit, so why don't you wait here on the sidewalk? I just want to make sure it's okay with my parents for you to stay for the weekend." Cece looked at Sophia with her huge wild thing eyes and nodded. Sophia hurried into the house to tell her parents about their guest. Sophia's mother said, "Yes, it's okay if you bring Cece home, but you must be in charge of her." Sophia's dad said, "Remember, you are responsible for her while she is with you." "Okay, thanks, Mom, thanks, Dad," said Sophia. Then she rushed outside to tell Cece that it was okay. But Cece was gone. Sophia looked up and down the sidewalk and couldn't see the little wild thing anywhere. It was then that Sophia noticed that there were books scattered all over the ground. They were books that had come out of Sophia's family's little free library. They had a little free library that looked kind of like a house that neighbors could come and take books from, but now the entire library was filled with a little wild thing. Cece had cleared out all the books so she could fit in. She had gone in face forward, and now all Sophia could see was the back of Cece's head and the white tip of her little stubby fur tail sticking out. Sophia said, "Cece, what are you doing?" "I visit Fia's house," said Cece. "That's not my house," said Sophia. "I live in the big house over there." She pointed to a real house, but of course, Cece could not see her real house as her face was jammed into the back wall of the little free library. "This not Fia house?" came a muffled voice. "Then this Cece new house. Cece live here now." Cece paused a moment and then said, "Cece new house very small." Cece so completely filled the little free library that there was hardly room for her to breathe, much less live there. And she appeared to be completely stuck. "Cece, that's too little for you to live in. How did you even get in there?" asked Sophia. "Cece not know. Cece squish in," Well, it's time for Cece to squish out, said Sophia. Can you turn around? She asked. Cece squirmed a little this way and that. Nopey, nopey, said Cece. Well, said Sophia, then I will have to pull you out. Sophia grabbed Cece by the tail and began to pull, harder and harder until she was pulling with all her strength. The little wild thing stayed stuck in the little free library. Oh dear, you were really stuck in there. What are we going to do now? Cece not stuck. Cece never stuck, said Cece. Then she seemed to shrink as she contracted all of her muscles. Sophia had seen this move before and was about to cry out, "No!" when Cece seemed to spring apart, and her arms and legs shot out from her body as boards went flying. The little free library appeared to explode outward. See? Cece said brightly. Cece not stuck. Cece never stuck. Sophia looked at the wood and books scattered all over the sidewalk and simply said, "Oh, I guess my parents can fix that." Cece looked at the mess and said, "Cece fix house," but Sophia said, "I think it's better if we let my parents do it. Come on, I'll show you around and you can see all my things." Cece gave a huge smile that seemed to go from ear to ear, although Cece's long, furry purple hair covered her ears completely, so it was hard to tell. "Want to see my scooter?" asked Sophia. She opened the garage door and pointed to a shiny pink scooter. "See? You hold on here and put one foot on the scooter and push with the other foot." "Cece try?" Cece asked. "Sure," said Sophia. Sophia helped Cece to hold on to the scooter and positioned her so she could try scooting. "Now you push with this foot," Sophia helpfully told her. Cece started to push with her foot and was doing really well until she crashed into the side of Sophia's mom's car. Cece crumpled to the ground with the scooter, and Sophia saw that there was a big scratch in the side of the car and also a big wet smear that Sophia did not want to think about. Cece was laughing. "Again!" Cece shouted and started to get the scooter up again. "Wait, wait," said Sophia. "Let's go out on the sidewalk so the car won't be in the way." It seemed that Cece was a natural on the scooter because as soon as Sophia let her go, she was zooming down the sidewalk. "Wait!" Sophia yelled, but Cece probably could not hear Sophia over her own squeals and yells. Sophia started to run after her, but soon Cece rounded a corner and was gone from sight. Sophia rounded the corner totally out of breath, but the little wild thing was nowhere to be seen. "Cece, where are you?" she called. "Cece, up here." Sophia looked up. There was a tree that was growing in the grass between the sidewalk and the street. At the top of it was Cece and the little pink scooter. Sophia walked around the trunk of the tree, but there were no branches anywhere near the ground. "How did you get up there?" Sophia called. "Cece, Scooty up the tree. Scooty, Scooty," she called back. Then she looked around. "Cece very high." "Cece, can you get down and bring my scooter?" "Coming down," Cece yelled, and then held the scooter out with one hand. "No," yelled Sophia. "Don't drop it." But it was too late. Cece had opened her little claw, and the scooter was falling. Luckily, instead of landing on the sidewalk and getting bent or crunched, the scooter got caught in a lower branch. Sophia was about to say something else when Cece launched herself into the air. "Whee!" she yelled, and then landed with a thump on the other side of a solid wood fence inside a neighbor's yard. Sophia could not see Cece, but she could hear Cece call out, "Where Fia?" "I'm out here," Sophia called, "on the other side of the fence." "Oh, Fia hiding, hide and seek." Sophia had taught Cece and the other wild things how to play hide and go seek. Once Cece had hidden and been missing for over a week. So Sophia felt a little nervous when she heard that Cece thought they were playing again. "No, Cece, we're not playing hide and go seek. I'm just on the other side of the fence from you." Hide and seek, Cece delightedly shrieked. And Sophia thought it sounded like Cece was running away from her as she yelled. "No, no, no," Sophia thought as she ran along the fence looking for a gate to get in. "Cece, wait!" Then Sophia had an idea. "Cece, you can't hide now. First, we have to count." As she said this, she heard the running sounds on the other side of the fence stop. "Count?" said Cece. "Yes. Don't you remember? Counting is part of playing hide and go seek. You have to come out so we can count." There was a scrabbling noise on the top of the other side of the fence, and then Cece's head appeared over the top of the fence right above Sophia. "Cece like to county. Cece want to county. Juan, blue, tree, floor, sniv, snicks," Cece counted. "Okay, but wait. Come over the fence before you count." In an instant, Cece was over the fence and jumping up and down next to Sophia, yelling, "County, county, county!" "Before we can play, Cece, we have to get my scooter," said Sophia. "Where Fia scooter?" "Don't you remember? You left it up in a tree," said Sophia. Cece looked puzzled. "Come on, I'll show you." Sophia took Cece by the claw and led her around the corner of the fence, and there was the tree with the scooter stuck up in the branches. "See?" said Sophia. Cece looked up at the scooter with a very serious expression on her face. After a very long time, she turned her big eyes toward Sophia and said, "Yes, Cece, see." Then she grinned one of her huge grins and winked one eye very slowly. This was so much fun that she decided to wink the other eye. Then Cece decided she wanted to watch herself winking, so she rolled her eyeball to the corner of her eye, hoping to see the other eye, but her nose was in the way. She tried pushing her nose out of the way, but that didn't help. "Cece, what are you doing?" Sophia asked. Cece looked startled, but said nothing and just winked a couple more times. "Cece, can you get my scooter out of the tree?" Sophia asked. Cece looked around and picked up a stick from the ground that was about the size of a pencil and threw it up in the air toward the scooter. It missed. "Cece cannot get," she said sadly, shaking her big woolly head slowly. "Well, can't you climb up in the tree and get the scooter?" Sophia asked. Cece walked over to the tree and walked all around the trunk and then said, "No branches." Cece no climb. Sophia was getting frustrated. "Well, how did you get up there before? Didn't you climb up?" "No. Cece scoot up. Now can't scoot. Scooter in tree," she said, and then she sat down on the ground and began picking some tiny purple and white flowers that were growing under the tree. "Cece," Sophie began, "it's impossible to scoot up a tree, so you must have climbed up. Try to remember. You're a good climber, remember?" "No branches," said Cece, starting to taste the flower. "Cece, don't eat that. We don't know if it's poisonous," Sophia pointed out. Cece paused with the flower right in front of her open mouth and looked at Sophia. Then she stuck the flower up her nose and grinned. "Fia want one?" she asked. "Maybe poison," Cece said with a mischievous grin. "No, I want to get my scooter down." "Okay, Fia," Cece said as she stood up. "Cece get scooter down." Then before Sophia knew what was happening, Cece took a few steps away and then turned and seemed to hurl herself at the trunk of the tree. She hit the base of the tree with her whole body and then bounced off and landed on her back on the ground. Sophia was about to cry out, "Are you hurt?" when suddenly the scooter fell from the branches and landed on Cece. Cece lay on her back and grinned at Sophia. "Cece got Scooty, Cece got Scooty." Sophia was relieved that Cece did not appear to be hurt, and now she had her scooter back, but she realized that this weekend visit might be more trouble than she had initially thought. They had not even been in the house yet, and the little free library was smashed, and there was a big scratch in her parents' car, and she'd almost lost her scooter. "Fia, more ice cream for Cece?" asked Cece. Said Sophia, "you've already finished one whole container almost completely by yourself." cookie for Cece?" asked Cece. "The cookies are all gone." "Both bags," said Sophia, looking at the empty bags on the carpet beside them. She looked at the huge number of crumbs around Cece and thought it might have been better if they had not had snack on the carpet. "Candy?" Cece asked hopefully. "No, Cece, too many sweets are not good for your teeth," replied Sophia before she remembered that Cece didn't have any teeth yet. Cece put on her biggest sad face, then moved her head right in front of Sophia's face to make sure she saw it. "Cece very sad now," said Cece. "Cece so sad," said Sophia, imitating Cece's voice as she reached over to tickle Cece, causing both of them to burst out in squeals of laughter while rolling over each other on the floor, getting covered in cookie crumbs in the process. Then Cece put her big arms around Sophia and squeezed, saying, "Cece love Fia." Sophia wanted to say she loved Cece too, but as usual, Cece's hug was so tight that Sophia could hardly breathe. Instead, Sophia squeaked out, "Cece, remember, not too tight on the hugs." Cece loosened her grip a little, and the two of them just sat together for a little while, enjoying the quiet moment, which ended very suddenly when Cece jumped up and yelled, "Play!" and crashed right into the closed glass door as she tried to run out into the backyard. Before Sophia could say anything, Cece had jumped up and crashed into the door a second time, once again landing on her tail on the floor. She started to get up again. "Cece, wait!" Sophia yelled. "We have to open the door first." Sophia walked over and turned the handle of the door and opened it slowly and deliberately, looking at Cece. Cece watched and didn't move, so Sophia closed and then opened the door again. "This is glass." She knocked on the glass with her knuckles. "You can't go through it. You have to open the door," said Sophia. "Want to try?" Cece nodded, and Sophia closed the door so Cece could try. Cece reached toward the handle very slowly and carefully, and then very gently turned the handle to open the door. Then she looked at Sophia, and her serious face turned into a grin. "Now close it and try again," Sophia suggested. Cece did. She closed it and opened it. She opened and closed it. She did it over and over again while Sophia waited patiently. After a while, Sophia thought this was probably enough door opening. "So, shall we go out and play now, Cece?" Sophia asked. She was a very polite little girl. But Cece ignored her and kept opening and closing the door. Suddenly, Cece got a bright look on her face and ran from the back door to the front door. She looked right at Sophia and then at the door and then carefully opened it and then closed it. Then it was as if Cece turned into a mad tropical storm. She started to run from room to room, opening and slamming doors as fast as she could. She opened bedroom doors, bathroom doors, closet doors, cabinet doors, trash can lids, and even toilet lids, slamming them all behind her with no care as to whether they stayed closed or not as she raced from room to room. Sophia did her best to keep up with Cece, closing doors that had popped open and trying to straighten up when towels and lotions fell off shelves or books and toys toppled to the floor as Cece continued her door-opening rampage. Finally, Cece just stopped and sat on the floor. As Sophia caught up to her, Cece smiled and said, "Cece liked doors." Sophia told her mom that she should make sure to make extra food for dinner, since even little wild things eat a lot. And she was not surprised that there were no leftovers at all. Cece stood up after dinner with a big smile and patted her round, furry belly. She looked at Sophia's mom, and Sophia thought Cece was about to say thank you for the dinner, but instead she gave 3 huge burps, which made Sophia's little brother Charlie laugh. Cece then wandered into the living room and plopped down on some pillows on the floor. Trying to make a point, Sophia used an especially loud voice to say, "Thank you, Mama, for the wonderful dinner. Wasn't that good, Charlie? Mama, may I be excused? She looked over at Cece to see if she was listening to this demonstration of good manners, but Cece seemed to be lying on her back and poking herself in the eye over and over. Thank you, Sophia. Yes, you may be excused. And me too, Mama? Asked Charlie. Yes, you may, said their mother. Later, at bedtime, Cece followed Sophia into the bathroom and watched while Sophia and Charlie brushed their teeth. What for you doing? Asked Cece. Brushing my teeth, Sophia mumbled through a mouthful of toothpaste. Cece watched another moment, then picked up Sophia's tube of sparkly toothpaste and licked the end. Ew, don't lick my toothpaste, Cece, said Sophia. But Cece didn't seem to hear, because after her first taste, she put the end of the toothpaste tube in her lips and squeezed all of the toothpaste into her mouth. Charlie laughed. Cece ate your toothpaste, he said to Sophia. Charlie had his own separate toothpaste. Cece, said Sophia, you don't even have any teeth, and you're not supposed to eat it. You're supposed to use it to clean your teeth. Cece clean tongue. Yummy, said Cece. I'll have to tell Mom to get some new toothpaste tomorrow, said Sophia. Meanwhile, Cece was looking longingly at Charlie's toothpaste. He watched her suspiciously while holding his toothpaste in his outstretched hand, keeping the tube as far from Cece as possible. Are you ready for bed? Sophia asked. Cece nodded very seriously and then smiled a huge Wild Thing smile that showed that she still had a mouthful of toothpaste foam. Cece, you're supposed to spit that out. Cece's eyes got big and wide, and then she spit. In the sink, Cece! Sophia yelled, but it was too late. There was toothpaste all over the mirror, the wall, the floor, and Sophia's little brother, who thought the whole thing was hilarious. After a bit of bathroom cleanup, Sophia took Cece into the bedroom. I fixed you up a bed on the floor, said Sophia. Cece looked at the pillows and blankets on the floor and then asked, where Fia sleep? Sophia said, I'll sleep right next to you in my bunk bed. Cece looked at the upper bunk where Sophia had pointed and then at the blankets on the floor and said, Cece sleep with Fia. Then she hopped right into Sophia's bed and snuggled under the blankets. Sophia looked at the bed, which looked pretty full now, but she climbed up and tried to wriggle her way into the bed next to Cece. Cece, do you want a bedtime story? Sophia asked. I do, Charlie called from the lower bunk. Read Woody and the Bullseye story, said Charlie. It's my favorite. First, said Sophia, let's ask our guest. Cece, would you like to hear the Woody and Bullseye story? Cece looked puzzled. Woody is a cowboy and Bullseye is his horse. See the pictures? Woody likes to ride on Bullseye the horse. I want to see, Charlie called up. Sophia held the book over the edge of the bed facing down so Charlie could see it. Then, since Cece seemed interested, Sophia read the book to the two of them and showed them the pictures. The book was about how Woody, riding on Bullseye, saved the day. Cece didn't say anything during the whole book, but sometimes she would reach over and turn the page back to study the picture on the previous page. When the story was over, Cece quietly said, Cowboy and Horsey. As Sophia climbed down to put the book away, she noticed that Charlie was asleep. She didn't know when he'd fallen asleep, but since he had heard the story many times, it didn't really matter. When Sophia got back into the bunk bed, Cece sniffed Sophia's hair for a few big snorts and then gave her a little squeeze and said, Nighty-tighty, Cowboy Fia. Actually, said Sophia, since I'm a girl, I would be a cowgirl, not a cowboy. Oh, said Cece, as though she had learned something very important, and then almost instantly began to snore. Sophia lay curled up in the little Wild Thing's arms until exhaustion from her busy day caught up with her, and she slipped into dreams. Seem to be missing a page. wait a minute, I'll find it. You know what I think happened? There was a place back over there where I had to go around a crocodile that was asleep. And I tripped, and I think I might have dropped the papers there. I didn't find the one I missed, so I'm going to go back. Hopefully the crocodile is still asleep. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to go see if I can find it.